Hey there, he's here, back with another video. I know it's been quite a long time since I've actually created a video now, but work and other stuff has gotten a lot of the time out of this, my free time, I guess. So I had to rest quite heavily, unfortunately. So, making videos is kind of like in the back of my mind. But now I'm gonna, talk about something because finally, I think it's probably the worth time to make a video talk about it now. So, PSO2NGS has been going on a roller coaster run now. It's now reaching to a point where we actually gone beyond the 5th anniversary campaign, which is now called Shin Super Origin Festival. Now, yes, I know the name is kind of whatever, but it just means a new Alpha Super Origin Festival if you translate it directly. It's a very, very good timing as well for people who actually have stopped playing NGS for the longest time to come back and actually enjoy the game again. Why do I say that? Well, if you look at the things that they are giving away here, it's pretty obvious they wanted to attract a lot of the players that they lost throughout, 5 years ago, to come back at least to try the game again. And with all the handouts like Epith, Erinis 4 series, and then the Descent Armor 4, and then the free skill rings as well, which is also +5 by the way, max out rings. But well, these things are just like the walking. These things are just basically your starting steps towards building a proper weapon like a Grand Illusion weapon, which actually drops sometimes in +100 versions, which also has a Fixer 5 level as well, which I think is just plentiful, usable enough until the next huge new weapon update. And if you look at all these things, right, it's actually way easier for a beginner to actually just enter the game right now and just play the game normally and just catapulted in the future-proofing your own character in terms of like your main class, at least, because of how much handouts the game is actually giving out at the moment. Now, not to mention there is also like a free 150 times AC scratch, which I believe there is a lot of stuff inside that usually players cannot really obtain with normal means. And it's pretty nice that they are AC scratch items as well, because that means, well, everybody get to finally get some of that AC drip, Now, not all of those items are exactly, new or per se, but it's still pretty good for people who are like long time haven't played the game and just come back and they just realize that their fashion catalog is pretty low. And I think this probably might spike their interest to come back or something, but I guess that's like a bonus, I suppose. There is also like Moe concerts, now pre-announced urgent quest that can be complete twice. I mean, this is pretty common. We've done that in like the previous month as well, but I'm really glad that it's coming back again. And also the same thing as like the free salon, which you can actually just dress up as much as you want. You can change your character as much as you want, and it's all gonna be free for the most part. And yep, there's a lot of other rewards as well that you can actually earn by just playing the game, completing tasks and stuff like that. However, of course, there's also other things like boosts and World Trials. I think World Trials is also one of those very, very nice events that they are trying to do again, because it provides Star Gems, which I think a lot of new players probably are lacking a lot of them, especially if you wanted to focus on and buying the material storage constantly all the time. You always wanted to have more than 1,000 Star Gems laying around, even if you are, not exactly a hardcore player. So this is actually a very, very good event to do in this month as well. Other than that, well, the new content, is it good? Well, let's just say I think it's decent enough as a new content, as a new instance-based content. While it's just most likely just a copy-pasted map that has been enhanced and remastered, at least it really do feel like you are going back to the past in like playing in one of those base PSO2 kind of maps. But instead of being randomized, well, you are able to access 3 of the upgrade points very easily by just using booster pads in between the islands. And then eventually what you are trying to aim for is to just spawn the main boss at the center, which is the Ruined Zest Rider. I'm not sure why it's still called Ruined despite, having full color and literally the same color as the base PSO2 version, but whatever. It's another new boss. It's another base PSO2 content. It's an episode 1 finale content, so hopefully in the future they will be probably making more Splinter Realms related to the future contents of PSO2, and maybe some lore explaining on why Splinter Realms exist, because it's going to probably link us back to base PSO2. Now there's also stories regarding the Outer Realm as well, but if you really wanted to know the whole story, you can might as well just do it from the start, but it's not really that long to finish the whole entire story mode, to be honest. If you want to have like a short time, or you have weekends to play through the whole story, you'll probably be able to earn a lot of EXP along the way and a lot of rewards as well, which I think quests actually give you a lot of EXP if I'm not wrong. So if you want to speed leveling your certain character, you can actually just complete the entirety of the story mode and you'll be set for the most part. For more other guides on how to progress your characters, you might as well just watch other content creators that have much more in-depth videos like Keropi. But for the most part, I'm just actually doing this video because I wanted to tell people that this is like the best time for you to come back as a returning player or a player who have not played the game for the longest time and wanted to see what is going on with Neo Genesis after the whole Super Games ended and stuff. Let's just be real here, the game is probably still going to continue because SEGA has decided to focus on their currently existing live services titles, and other than just all the other mobile games, PSO2 Neo Genesis is their only standalone PC and console title that is not mobile, which I believe is in a very prime slot for developers to actually focus on them and trying to build upon what is being done already, which is like the 5th anniversary of this game existing, by the way. This game has been outliving even Destiny 2 at this point, so might as well just, keep on playing casually and try not to burn yourself out when playing this game. Regardless of that, well, it's still one of the best dress-up games ever existed. It's still one of the best, place for you to cosplay your anime characters or fictional characters from other games or IPs and stuff like that. So there's that. I don't really think Neo Genesis is going to go down anytime soon, especially considering the fact that SEGA is not really laying off people, so I'm not really worried about that part. But the reshuffling of people on prioritizing single player move is a little bit, there's a bit of a worry in me for that, but I don't really think the PSO2NGS crew is going to be affected that much. In fact, the opposite might actually happen, which means that they'll get more support and more budget, more developers will probably help out as well, because, well, the Super Games initiative is already ended. So, and looking at the Summer Game Fest today, several new SEGA games are popping off as well, like Virtua Fighter Crossroads. There's even a new Alien Isolation 2, which is also part of SEGA's IPs as well. Stranger Than Heaven. Yeah, all these games are still here, so SEGA is definitely still going to on track to be one of the most stable ones in comparison to a lot of Japanese game companies out there. Maybe with an exception of Capcom, maybe they are just doing that much better. Square Enix is just still hanging on the crutches of Final Fantasy Remake Part 3, so there's that, I guess. But hey, it's pretty cool to see that SEGA is trying to finally try to shift their focus on refocusing on their current existing live services instead of throwing them in the back of the seat again, just like in the past 5 years, which because they funded like so much money into the Super Games initiative. Now Yuya Kimura is unfortunately out of picture. I don't really think he's wanted to return back into the Phantasy Star series anymore because of what happened, and he literally bet 100% into the Crazy Taxi Online series. So, but guys, you have to remember, right? All of these new IPs or new games, even something like Sonic Frontiers, has influences from PSO2. So let's just not kid ourselves here. It's still part of the SEGA Games initiative, so you don't have to worry about the game going down under, even after they added the whole weird AI thingy. It's just really just them trying to salvage whatever that works, throwing whatever darts on the wall and hope some of them actually sticks. It is literally just how they work in this industry at this current moment. Hopefully AI will be able to assist the developers to stabilize the game much more in terms of like optimization, and if there is actually a new game being developed, from what I've heard from people rumoring about, that is an extra. Then I do not think there is another new game that is being developed secretly that is part of the Phantasy Star franchise. But if the SEGA is able to surprise me, then I'll be very thankful for that, I guess, because it's been a long while since we actually gotten a single-player Phantasy Star game, you know? Might as well just revisit the old classic Phantasy Star series. You might as well just revisit Phantasy Star Universe series, or just remaster the good old Phantasy Star series and make them become a classic bundle or something. That would be great, Sega. I hope they actually do that, because out of all the games that we are able to play in the past, Phantasy Star's games just rarely got any remasters in comparison to a lot of other ancient IPs out there. So that's what my wishful thinking is, and that's all for this video, and I hope everybody is able to enjoy the game casually, and I'll see you guys next time. Sayonara.